These are okay.
Read from Shrimad-Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 18th chapter, 36th verse. Is that right? Tayor. Get my specs on. Tayor. Surayor. Akshitam, Teja, Jai, Bhagavan, Sat, Diditati, Ayorasayoradya, Tejasayo Mayoriva, Akshitam Teja Itai, Bhagavan Sat Diditati, Jaya Sriyaradya, Tejasaya Mayoriha, Akshitam Tejaitali, Bhagavan Sad Vidipyati, Tayorasayoradya, Tejasaya Please. Tayo of them, Asuryayo of the two Asuras, Ya today, Tejasa by the prowess, Yamayaho of the twins, He certainly, Vaha of all you demigods, Akshiptam agitated, Tejaha power, Etadhi thus certainly, Bhagavan the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tat
that. Viditsati, desires to do. Translation. It is the prowess of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this. Responsively, it is the prowess of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this. Purport. Although Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, formerly Jaya and Vijaya, became asuras, the demigods of this material world could not control them. And therefore Lord Brahma said that neither he nor all the demigods could counteract the disturbance they created. They came within the material world by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he alone could counteract such disturbances. In other words, although Jaya and Vijaya assumed the bodies of asuras, they remained more powerful than anyone, thus proving that the Supreme Personality of Godhead desired to fight, because the fighting spirit is also within him. He is the original in everything, but when he desires to fight, he must fight with a devotee. Therefore, by his desire only were Jaya and Vijaya cursed by the Kumaras. The Lord ordered the gatekeepers to go down to the material world to become his enemies, so that he could fight with them, and his fighting desires would be satisfied by the service of his personal devotees. Brahma showed the demigods that the situation created by the darkness, for which they were disturbed, was the desire of the Supreme Lord. He wanted to show that even though these two attendants were coming in the form of demons, they were very powerful, greater than the demigods, who could not control them. No one can surpass the acts of the Supreme Lord. The demigods were also advised not to try to counteract this incident, because it was ordered by the Lord. Similarly, anyone who is ordered by the Lord to perform some action in this material world, especially preaching his glories, cannot be counteracted by anyone. The will of the Lord is executed under all circumstances. The verse again, text 36, it is the prowess of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this. I'll read it again. It is the prowess of these two asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkaripa taraham bande Shri Guru Dinatarane. It's reiterated, Prabhupada reiterates here in the purport, that the Lord's behavior is beyond the understanding of just about anyone. It has also been said that if one completely understands and knows all the rules, it's possible to break them. Of course, Krishna does not break the rules very often, but in this case, the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha were sent down to the material world so that Krishna could fight. He doesn't fight anyone in the spiritual world, because in the spiritual world everyone is pure and perfect, but has to be someone in the material world who takes on a demonic demeanor, who is Krishna's enemy. So sometimes, although it is unusual, Krishna breaks the rules. This is the knowledge of God that is very hard for people to understand. Most people think that God is a force or an energy, or he lives up in the clouds. And Brahma knew that Lord Krishna was a great devotee, and it was impossible for him to understand the plan of the Lord. The plan of the Lord is very mysterious. And sometimes we even say that, oh, it's Krishna's arrangement. I got sick, or this happened, that happened. It all happens by the mercy of Krishna. And there is a tendency for us to take everything for granted. When you turn on the switch, the lights go on. When we turn on the tap, the water comes out. When we wake up, we wake up. But it's very difficult. And we take things for granted. We should remember that Krishna is the source of everything, and he is the source of even fighting. It's unusual, but it happens. And Prabhupada chose to take Krishna, depicted in the act of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, to be on the cover of Bhagavad Gita as it is, not Krishna in his romantic form of dancing with the gopis. So God is very hard to understand, and he does sometimes things that are very hard to countenance. And as he was saying in this purport, that as Brahma was saying, it's very hard. He doesn't advise the demigods to try to counter, even though they have the power, and even though Krishna has the power to counteract curses, he doesn't sometimes often do it because he respects the people who do the cursing. So these two demigods, sometimes they were described as not being actually in Vaikuntha because they're the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. So it's not necessarily always the case that someone is sent to the material world from the spiritual world, but it does happen on occasion. And on occasion, Krishna wants to actually fight. Just as Prabhupada gives the example of a wealthy man, sometimes he has a mock fight with his son, or sometimes he calls one of his servants to fight with each other, so he can enjoy the action of a fight. My father used to watch the Sikh-sponsored fights almost every night on television, and so there's something very attractive about people fighting with each other, and even that's possible because it's there in Krishna. We have to end a little bit early today because there's a little bit of a ceremony going on, and it's going to take some time, so I'm not going to take up the full time for this class. Anyway, the Jaya and Vijaya became proper Paka demons. They violated, they killed people, they made sacrifices impossible, they desecrated all the saintliness, and it's possible that people could understand how they could come down to the material world to do all these actions, because they believe that there is such a thing as reincarnation or transmigration of the soul. And Prabhupada started out telling this. He said that this is something that most people don't accept. I mean, a few people accept it, but they have their own versions of what's going to happen. If I was a great artist in my past life, or I was... when Prabhupada was asked what was he in his past life, he generally didn't give a very solid answer. One answer he gave was that he consulted some astrological people about what he was in the past, and he said he was in the medical profession. And that is kind of like indicative of Prabhupada's working in the pharmaceutical industry. He worked for Bengal Chemical for a long time, and it was due to his father's intervention that he got this position. And so it's possible that he had some experience in a past life about working with drugs and pharmaceutical drugs. So sometimes Krishna's arrangement is very, very difficult to understand, and no one can understand it. Even Lord Brahma cannot understand it. And even what to speak of ordinary people like us, we can't understand these things. They are very, very difficult and very merciful. How someone who is very advanced and living in the spiritual world can come down to the material world and fight with Krishna and be very demonic, and then in future be reinstated in their original position in Vaikuntha. It's very difficult to understand these things, but they do exist, and they're exceptional. And they are written about. Prabhupada has entitled the chapter Jaya and Vijaya Cursed by the Sages. And it's very unusual that even sages would curse somebody, would find fault with pure and perfect persons, and they repented this. But still, it was all Krishna's arrangement, that he had to do these things, he had to engage, he had to satisfy his desire to fight. That had to be done. So I think we're going to stop at this point, and I'll read the verse again. It is the prowess of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this. So Lord Brahma is saying that even though he is very powerful and probably one of the, if not the most powerful person in this universe, he is unable to counteract Krishna's desire. Krishna's desire is very, very important. So we have a number of things to do this morning that have to do with Prabhupada disciples. So we're going to begin. There's a project called Gift Srila Prabhupada, or Gifts Prabhupada, that has to do with giving gifts to people who are disciples of Prabhupada. So if you're a disciple of Prabhupada, I don't think I know who all of you are, but please indicate that by raising your hand, and keep it raised so we can know. If you're a Prabhupada disciple, please raise your hand and keep it raised. Thank you very much. So the list of Prabhupada disciples that I have, I don't know if I'm correct, but this is what I have that are in Marwolamba. Rasarani, Alanalath, Ambika Das, Brihashpati Dasa, Chamari Dasi, Divya Purusha Das, Krishna Das, Krishna Rupa Dasi, Lagudi Dasa, Mahotsa Dasa, Mandapa Dasa, Prabhu Dasa, Rama Prashada Dasa, and Shukla Dasi. If I've left anybody out? Jagat Priya, okay. Please let me know. And besides Jagat Priya, if there's anybody else that I've not mentioned, okay. Keep your hands up. So is it Divya here? Divya Purush? No. Anyway, someone is going to give you a gift, but I don't want you to open this gift until it's what the contents are projected onto the screen. That's the process that we're taking. So please keep your hand up, and we'll distribute these gifts to you now. And there's not only a gift of something that I won't mention, but also something to eat. It's a form of Mahaprasada. So there's a few interesting quotes by Prabhupada. One is that he said that he is present in his murti, and that the spiritual master's murti should be treated as good as the deity. So you can distribute these now? Okay, you can put your hands down now. I know you're getting tired of keeping it up there. So do you want to distribute these to each devotee? Okay, and please don't open your gifts until they're all distributed. Just keep them kind of, under wraps, so to speak. Oh, and another verse that I want to read is indicative that we may not be able to associate with devotees, but if we have a murti of Prabhupada, we should feel very, very, very blessed. And it's from Padma Purana. It says, Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu va tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti madbhaktaha. And it means that it's said to Narada Muni that I am not in Vaikuntha, nor am I in the hearts of the devotees, of the yogis. I remain where my devotees glorify my name, form, qualities, and pastimes. That's the translation. This is from Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda 92, 21, 22. So please don't open these gifts until everyone has gotten their gift. Thank you very much. And the contents will be projected onto the screen at some point. You'll see what's in there, and then everyone can open up and see what it is. I'm sorry for all the secrecy, but we have to have an element of secrecy and on some occasions, or elements of surprise. Okay. No, I want to show this first. I don't care. Okay, you can open the box now.
We'll show you what the gifts look like for the rest of the audience, so you can see it on the screen.
Yeah, so everyone can see. We're going to project the contents of the box onto the screen.
The logo of the project is actually the tree, the jackfruit tree under which Prabhupada was born, as you can see on the screen. And this tree is in Kolkata, in a place recently acquired by ISKCON and developed into a memorial. And on the front, we can see a special quote by Srila Prabhupada, who says in a letter to Brahmananda in 1969, "As far as I am concerned, in relationships with my disciples who are so kindly cooperating with me in the matter of my rendering service to my spiritual master, for them I am always ready to come back from Goloka Vrindavan if they are not delivered along with me." It's a legally binding document because Prabhupada's signature is here, so I can present it to him. And then we have the Murti. On the left you have Prabhupada meditating on his mission in his Radha Damodar quarters and looking out the window at Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi and Bhajan Kutir. And on the right, Srila Prabhupada's mission has started. The center you have the courtyard of Prabhupada's appearance place and the jackfruit tree under which he was born.
This particular murti is made out of solid brass. Brass is about 80% copper and 20% tin. And there's elements of coins that are going to be put into that. And it was made by engineers, artisans, and people a group of people who have ability to work with metals. Metallurgists, engineers, artisans. And they want to remain a little anonymous. They did this out of service. So this is a very important gift and something that you can treasure forever and keep with you. Please. And because it's made of brass, solid brass, it's a very very durable product. The coinage that's included is less than 1/10 of 1%. It's the future ones. There's going to be one of these gifts given to every Prabhupada disciple in the world, and the alloy, the metal alloy, is going to contain 25 coins representing the 25 countries that Prabhupada visited, and less than 1/10 of 1% is going to be intermixed into the alloy. So it's a very, very important gift. And if any of you think that it doesn't exactly look like the Prabhupada sitting here, it's partly because there's a phenomenon in the medical terminology called gravitational ptosis, P-T-O-S-I-S, ptosis. It kind of means sagging or drooping of muscles. Usually they're in the eyelids, but they could be anywhere in the face. They could be anywhere in the body. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it does happen. So what these artisans did was they tried to average from different pictures of Prabhupada at different periods of time what he actually looked like. So that's why it doesn't necessarily look the same as the deity we see. Although Lochan the sculptor of this particular deity was consulted at one point, and he's very happy to see this project is going forward. So, does anyone have any questions about this, about the gifts? What? Or just any comments? Yes?
Maharaj, it's Chamri. I just want to deeply thank you for gifting this.
Well, it's not my project. It was done in another country, but it is underway.
But still.
And I was just the figurehead that was chosen to speak about who they should be given to. But anyway, this is a very important project for everyone. And we have to thank the devotees who worked very hard to make this happen.
I would just like to say they were all offered to Radha Goswami.
Okay.
And you're the first Australian disciples of Srila Prabhupada to receive these gifts. So please bless us in our efforts to extend these gifts to all of your God brothers and God sisters across the world. It's a race against time because for obvious reasons, and we're trying to get them out as soon as possible. Also, as Mukunda Maharaj mentioned, coins that were donated for Prabhupada's books in 25 countries that he visited will be added to the alloy. Yours have some. Not all of the 25 countries, unfortunately, we couldn't get them together in time, but still some coins donated for Prabhupada's books are added to the alloy of your murtis. And also, very soon, we'll have, and you'll receive them, special inserts, stickers, made of the actual tree under which Prabhupada was born, so you will be able to add them to Srila Prabhupada's altar behind him over the outline of the trunk of the tree. We'll get them to you soon.
And that tree is located in a suburb of Calcutta, and devotees have purchased the land that includes the tree, and they're going to eventually, after a big fundraising effort, after a while they're going to purchase a bit more land. So approximately it's about 2 acres worth? Something like that, 2 acres of land, or 1 hectare, or 1.5 hectares, or something like that. Okay.
I actually did that parikram some years ago with Malati, Vishaka, Shruti Rupa and myself, and it's absolutely wonderful. So if when you visit Mayapur, try and do that in Calcutta. I just wanted to say there are some Prabhupada disciples who don't regularly attend the temple. I was approached through one of the Sabha members to try and get their addresses. So would it be the best way to give you those addresses and then you can forward it?
The importance of an event like this is that in time there will be very few Prabhupada disciples left, and some people have lamented the fact that there won't be very many left, and that the disciples of Prabhupada and disciples of Prabhupada are going to be the ones who will have to carry forward with ISKCON. So in a sense, it'll help us all remember who the founder Acharya actually is and why he is important.
I'd just like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's a beautiful gesture, and I'm sure we all feel moved, and we really appreciate it. So if you can pass it on to those devotees on our behalf.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Maybe something that wasn't said, but actually the one that is behind this project is Madan Mohan Prabhu himself.
So another name for this project can be From Russia with Love. Thank you very much.
Krishna. And also, let's note that that cloth that Srila Prabhupada is in, sort of a case or wrapper, is there for him to feel comfortable while traveling. It's not meant to be an integral part of your daily worship. It's just there to keep him snugly in the box. You can remove it because sometimes devotees think that it's part of the set. It's not. Just for him to stay put in the box while traveling.